Are you okay?
I think so. Are you?
I think so. What the hell just happened? Well, folks, we had ourselves a bit of a time here.
I wouldn't think that Godzilla would stop by here after doing all of that, but the evidence kind of speaks for itself.
Not a good decision maker, that Godzilla, but, I mean, whatever.
I'm impressed he got the stool on that.
Yeah, right?
Though. That was cool.
Poise. Respect Godzilla. I honestly do.
And I'm glad to have him back, actually.
Yeah, because this is the second big Godzilla movie, I think, of a certain generation, if you're of a certain age, right?
Do you remember the 98 version?
I do. Actually, I only remember being so excited for the commercials because the commercials made the movie look so good. And the soundtrack, which I do think is very underrated as far as movie soundtracks goes, that movie was so bad, I wanted to fight somebody. And this is 1998, so I don't know how to fight.
I mean, to be fair, if there's one problem with most Led Zeppelin songs is that it doesn't have Diddy rapping over them.
That's what I'm saying. And in that video, he's dancing to Godzilla in a white suit for no reason. God, I miss the 90s.
But anyway, that movie is terrible,
Yeah.
and I don't mind them trying again because Godzilla is something, it's a beloved property, but as technology gets better and you can do more and actually take a different approach, something different than the 98 one where you're not actually trying to get a lot of random laughs out of it, you're not casting Matthew Broderick, I don't mind them going back to this.
And also, like, as far as reboots are concerned, this isn't like a Spider-Man where the same generation can remember that it just happened. This one, there's enough time has passed now that I think it's not that crazy.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. You mentioned Matthew Broderick. How is the rest of the cast in this? I see some names that people were going to recognize.
Ernest, if I told you there was a movie coming out starring Ken Watanabe, Sally Hawkins, and Juliette Binoche, I don't think your first thought would be like, oh, that must be the new Godzilla.
No, my first thought would be...
Yeah, I'm shocked and happy with this casting. We also have Bryan Cranston and Elizabeth Olsen. Mm-hmm. This is cool to have a big summer movie like this with those people.
Yeah.
We never get that, and all of them really deliver in this situation. Aaron Taylor-Johnson, not as much. He's kind of dull. I wasn't that happy to see the movie revolving around him. Mm-hmm. He goes from San Francisco to Tokyo to pick up his dad, played by Cranston, who was in jail. They're trying to figure out what happened in a tragedy 15 years ago. Then, of course, all hell breaks loose. Godzilla is out to other huge beasts who are not lizards.
Mothra?
Not Mothra exactly, but big, ugly things that actually get more screen time than Godzilla.
Really?
But yeah, it's really nice to actually not have the same predictable kind of magazine cover people cast in a movie like this.
Yeah. Does need more Mothra, though. Summer blockbusters have the tendency sometimes to be a lot of punch, 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 boom, crash, Michael Bay action stuff, and it can get a little overwhelming sometimes. Is this the case with Godzilla?
That is a great point, Ernest, and thankfully that is not the case with this Godzilla. I think some people will walk out of it wishing there was more of the monsters because it takes its time. It really doesn't rise and totally explode until the very end. So it takes a little bit of patience. You have to accept the fact that early in the movie, when we see some battles, when we see the big attacks, you're only going to get little snippets of that in service of pacing and tension and suspense. And I'd much rather have that than just like going at 100 all the time because that gets tiresome.
Well, just to counteract that, though, is it a case like that movie Cloverfield where you don't see anything and it's so boring? Like, there's a balance here, right?
There is a balance. I didn't find Cloverfield boring. I like that one. I'm glad to not have the shaky cam first point of view thing, although Godzilla has a lot of really cool point of view moments where you totally feel like you're laying on a bridge seeing this giant thing towering over you, and that's part of what makes an experience like this really immediate, is actually feeling like the action is happening around you and you have a sense of scale. If you're just 100 miles away watching this unfold on a big screen, it doesn't seem as much of a cool accomplishment and really seeing what the movies can do.
Okay. Summer's here. That means movies of a blockbuster nature. Big monsters, big comic book stuff. I mean, are you good with these kind of films overall, knowing that you have to see a lot of them every summer?
Sometimes, yes.
Okay.
I feel like I'm glad to see this is an example of where a filmmaker actually seems to care.
Yeah.
Believe it or not. This was directed by Gareth Edwards, who his only previous movie was a low-budget thing called Monsters, appropriately, which, if you see that movie, you can tell that he didn't have a lot of money to work with, so he didn't show the monster on screen that much, but did the best that he could do with that money.
Right.
And in Godzilla, you see him really understand that he's trying to make a movie that shows that he has some style and some care, and it's not, I mean, there's so many big blockbusters where you can tell the filmmaker, like you said. I mean, some Michael Bay movies are kind of fun and entertaining, but that approach of just like, we had $200 million to spend, and we did, and therefore it's great. No, if you actually put a little bit of effort into the script and the compositions and try to as silly as it sounds, try to actually get some beauty out of these big action sequences and the experiences of the people. This Godzilla actually pays attention to the people, believe it or not.
Godzilla, a man for the people.
I did not say that.
I did.
Although he kind of is in this movie, believe it or not.
Okay, moment of truth. He destroyed our set. I think I'm bleeding. I'm definitely bleeding. But anyway, Matt, Godzilla, good or what?
Ernest, I'm happy to say Godzilla, though maybe a little slow at times. Aaron Taylor Johnson doesn't really get it done. Everyone else does, but this one's good. I recommend it, totally.
Hey. Awesome, folks. That wraps up another edition of Good or What. My name is Ernest Wilkins.
I'm Matt Pais, and we need to go get that looked at.
I need to go to the hospital.
So, bye.
Bye.